Should you buy a Mac now or should you buy a Mac later when Apple Silicon release? Now, we have Intel Macs versus Apple Silicon Macs. And if you guys don't know what Silicon is, basically this is Apple's custom-made chip on the Macs. This is definitely a big deal because now Apple is in charge of the processor, the GPU, and even the software. So Apple is in full control now with their system. But right now, Intel is basically the processor of the Macs, and then Apple is in charge of their software, and they could still tweak up some things. They could still get some parts from Intel, but this is a big deal because this is their own custom-made chip, and I know Apple is gonna totally kill it. If you guys watch WWDC, Tim Cook has officially announced that the first Mac to have the Apple Silicon is this year. That's pretty close. That's like this year. You know what I'm saying? Like that's within 6 months. So should you go out and buy an Intel-based Mac now or the Apple Silicon? Now, first you gotta ask yourself, do you really need a new Mac now? You know what I'm saying? Is your Mac perfectly fine? Is your Mac broken down? You get what I'm saying? You gotta ask yourself that. If you have a perfectly working MacBook or Mac, whatever the case may be, I would wait. You get what I'm saying? It's nothing to rush out and get a new MacBook because, oh, it's going to run slow. No, I wouldn't worry about the Apple Silicon because Apple will still support base Intel Macs with software and support, of course. So that's years to come. Apple Silicon, this is the new wave, but you wouldn't really see a difference anyway because it's still going to be running Mac OS. And in this case, we have Mac OS Big Sur coming out. You know, you're not going to really see a big difference other than just seeing it in the preferences. You know, going to system preferences and you see the Apple Silicon, or in this case, the Apple A12Z chip. In terms of performance, it will be faster, but at the same time, the Intel-based Mac is already fast. So it's like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Now, unless you have a Mac that's really broken down, run down to the ground, you had a MacBook since 2008 and you need an upgrade, I would say get an Intel-based Mac because at the end of the day, it's no difference. You know what? Let's ask these guys, shall we?
Oh, we got a long time homie. We got SimplyPops on the line. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on, Vibe? What's going on, Gray?
Hey, what you got for us, SimplyPop? What you got for us?
I was just making a video talking about Apple Silicon versus Mac Intel. What's your opinion on should you go out and buy a Mac now or should you wait for the release of Apple Silicon?
So many people have made this video in the past week. I'm gonna let Greg kick it off since he just made the video.
Yeah, so basically I would wait as long as possible. Like if your computer's like slowing down like a little bit, you're like, maybe it's time to get one. I would just wait as long as possible, even if like it's taking a little longer to do things. If your computer breaks tomorrow, what are you gonna do? Sit maybe potentially 2 years without a computer? It's not doable. So hang on to your computer as long as possible. If they switch over to ARM and there's problems, there'll still be Intel Macs on the market. They'll probably be even cheaper when Apple switches over, so you can make that decision to buy an Intel. So I would wait as long as possible, but if you desperately need a new computer now, you're fine picking up an Intel one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to back Greg on this one. I mean, the ARM MacBooks are coming at the end of the year, so you don't even have to wait that long. Now, will it be one that you want, preferably? We don't know. We don't know which ones are going to be Apple Silicon, but they are coming at the end of the year, and that means if they're coming at the end of the year, then we know moving into 2021, they're going to keep coming and coming and coming. So you don't even have to wait long. I would say if you are looking for a new Mac, just hold out for a few months and see what Apple does at the end of the year with this transition and go from there.
Oh, I forgot to tell Vibe. Make sure you guys subscribe to Viper. I throw a link in the description. Amazing channel. He interviewed iJustine, iPhonedo, Renee Ritchie. You name it, he pretty much did an interview with them. So, and he got great gadgets on there. So, yeah, amazing channel. I forgot to tell him congrats on all of the collaborations, but I'm pretty sure he know that he's appreciated and stuff like that. But yeah, I throw a link in the description. And to make things even more confusing is Apple is planning on releasing a MacBook 13-inch. I'm not sure if it's going to be the MacBook Pro 13-inch or the MacBook Air 13-inch or entirely new MacBook. And then we have a MacBook Pro 16-inch and we have the MacBook Pro 14-inch. This is according to Meek Cheat Quo. They all gonna have the Apple Silicon, and to put the cherry on top, the 16-inch and the 14-inch model will have the mini LED display. This is something that we've been talking about for a long time, but yeah, this is a pretty bold claim, and I would say that makes things a little bit more tricky. Because it's like, I thought Apple was going to release one Mac with the Apple Silicon, in this case maybe a ultra thin, ultra portable MacBook, and then work your way up to the more powerful MacBooks. You know, I wasn't expecting the 16-inch to get the Apple Silicon so soon, but I would say nonetheless, I wouldn't even worry about the Apple Silicon because Apple is still going to be supporting the Intel-based Macs, and they still going to release Intel-based Macs. Like, we still have the iMac that could be refreshed any day now with the Intel-based processor. And for me, I'm a tech head. You guys know me. I buy every Apple product. I don't need the Apple Silicon, man. I really don't. I just brought this MacBook. I'm going to run this MacBook to the ground, and then when the time is right, 5 years later from now, 6 years later from now, then I get a new MacBook. And then I'm going to most likely have the Apple Silicon chip. So I wouldn't rush it out because at the end of the day, this is still a Mac product. So Apple is still going to have the support. And I just recently got an '07 MacBook Pro. And I just learned that that could support all the way up to El Capitan, which came out in 2016. So that's just like insane. So Apple is still going to support Intel-based Macs. So you have nothing to worry about. If you buy a Mac now, I wouldn't worry about this Apple Silicon. Pretend that's not even here. Because at the end of the day, it's still going to run the same. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little bit more powerful, but there's no kind of perks to it. It could last longer, but come on, man. Macs last already long already. So that's what I'm saying. It's not going to make a huge difference. Now, just to give a quick little buyer's guide, the iMac, do not buy the iMac right now. Wait for the Apple refresh because Apple is planning on redesigning that, shrinking down the bezels, hopefully, and just, you know, beefing up the specs in general. So I would just hold off on that unless you really need it. Even if you really need it, I would still hold off on the iMac, man. Try to hold out as long as you can because that iMac is so out of date. They even still have a mechanical hard drive on the base iMac. Like that needs a desperate upgrade immediately. Now, just to give some quick little rumors on that, it's gonna feature an SSD. It's gonna have a 10th generation Intel processor. In terms of the RAM, I'm not sure what the base RAM is gonna be. Maybe 16 base, or maybe even 8. I think 8 is kind of low now, but 8 could be fine for the average consumer. In terms of the iMac Pro, the iMac Pro is in a pretty weird spot right now. I think Apple could discontinue that because the Apple Silicon, I don't even know what the processor is going to be. Like, is everybody going to have the same processor, or is Apple going to make multiple silicon chips? One more powerful and then one more less powerful? Don't know, man. This thing is so confusing, and this is new for everybody, honestly. But yeah, we gotta wait and see. I think Apple is gonna discontinue the iMac Pro. Should you go out and buy it? It's kind of a little late to buy an iMac Pro, if you ask me. But yeah, I mean, if you really need it, I guess. But try your best to hold out. You know, I think all Macs are kind of like in a gray area right now. It's weird for the MacBooks because the silicon chip isn't really going to bring nothing really new to the table. I know it's going to bring performance and efficiency and all of that good stuff, but MacBooks already has good battery life. MacBooks already perform well. Like, we already have a great MacBook now. So it's like adding the Apple Silicon is a good change. It's a welcome change. But at the same time, what difference could you really see? I mean, improvements, okay, fine, but I don't know, man. And I think for the average consumer, they're not going to see a big difference other than just seeing the chip. So, I don't know. This is a weird discussion, but the best thing I could say, unless you really need a Mac right this second, I would say wait. You get what I'm saying? I would say wait, but if your Mac is run down, broken down, go out and buy a Mac now. It wouldn't hurt to buy a Mac now, and then when the time comes, when it's time to upgrade that, then you're ready for the Apple Silicon. You're ready for the Apple processor. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And that's why I brought the 16-inch MacBook, because my 2015 MacBook Pro was running a little slow for 4K video, and the rendering times are painfully slow too. So I just like, you know what, I'm going to upgrade. And that's what I did, and I'm proud of my upgrade too. So the 16-inch MacBook Pro, even though it has the 9th generation processor, it's still pretty fast. It's still pretty beefy. So yeah, so this is the 2007 MacBook Pro. This is when Apple switched into Intel. They was coming from PowerPC and switching into Intel. So, wow, I'm so happy and blessed to have a '07 MacBook Pro. Video on this coming soon. I'm going to restore it, upgrade the RAM, upgrade the storage, the SSD. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And when they transitioned to this, you know, throughout years, it matured a little bit. And when the time was right, we had the unibody design MacBook Pro, and then we had the Retina display MacBook Pro, and the rest was history. So, yeah, so Apple Silicon is a big deal. But like anything, the first generation is not going to really be as great. But, and that was one of the main reasons why the MacBook, the 12-inch MacBook, flopped. It flopped in terms of performance, overheating issue. It only had one port, but it was just due to the fact of Intel. Intel's efficiency is kind of lacking, and the power wasn't really all that. But with the Apple Silicon, they're gonna push towards performance and efficiency. So I can't wait for the first Apple Silicon. I'm actually gonna probably get one, unbox it. I'm probably not gonna keep it, to be honest with you guys. I'm just gonna unbox it for the channel, really and truly, and review it. But if I was you guys, I would wait. I wouldn't worry about Apple Silicon. You'll be just fine. Unless you really need it. Unless you have a computer like this and you're limited to 6 gigabytes of RAM. Although, if you're just doing word processing, watching YouTube videos, this could get you by. 6 gigabytes is the max. 6 gigabytes is the max that this can take. Oh, let me show you guys the inside too. Let me hit you guys with this nostalgia. Oh, right now, the battery I think is dead. So yeah, the first MacBook Pro. You guys definitely want to subscribe if you guys want to see the history of MacBook Pros. I'm definitely going to be working on that video. And also I'm going to be reviewing the MacBook Pro 16-inch. That's the one with the 5600M graphics CPU. A lot of MacBook content is on the way, and I'm going to be doing a desktop video soon. So yeah, that pretty much concludes today's video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If it did, I appreciate it with a thumbs up. Make sure you guys comment down below what you guys think about Apple Silicon, or what are your questions or concerns. Everything is still a mystery to us. Only Apple knows, only Tim Cook knows. But yeah, I'll do the best I can to answer your questions. And also, make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on so you guys can be notified when I upload an Apple video. And yeah, stay safe, stay clean, and most importantly, stay simple. Peace.